So what a difference a year makes. New York City Mayor Eric Adams delivering what he's calling the best budget ever.
The $115 billion spending plan includes investments in after-school programs, public safety, infrastructure, a far cry from last year when the mayor called for cuts across the board. Now, the optimistic budget raising some eyebrows for several reasons. Mayor Adams and First Deputy Mayor Mayor Mastro joining us this morning to talk more about the plan. So great to see both of you. Good morning to you.
Good morning, and I'm really, I love what you said, what a difference a year makes, because I think that's profound. What a difference a lifetime, sitting on the stage at Bayside High School, and now being the mayor of the city of New York. Stay in the game, and you can win the game, as we saw with the Knicks last night.
Well, yeah, and we'll talk about the Knicks in a second. I know that. Let's go Knicks. But best budget ever, that's a pretty profound statement, right? And it is a lot different than what we saw last year. So what, I guess, changed within the year for you to come out with this grandiose best budget ever?
Well, when you look at it, 3 years of preparation, 3 years of navigating uncertainties, making the smart decision that bond ratings increased our bond ratings at the beginning of my administration, making sure we have a record number of savings, $8.5 billion. Then you look at the decisions we made that's going to help children and families of the city. When you have moving towards universal after school, when you look at the investment in our cultural institutions, pre-K, 3K, these are real institutional-driven changes and baseline, meaning is politicians safe?
Yeah, I mean, let's.
But Dan.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Dan, to answer your question about how are we able to do that this year as opposed to last year, it had to do with sound fiscal management to get us through the twin crises of COVID recovery and the migrant influx, which blew a $7.5 billion hole in the city's budget for the past 3 years. But that population, managed down from over 230,000 down to less than 40,000.
Yeah, but you didn't
today,
get the billion that you wanted. You didn't get the $1 billion you wanted from Albany.
But we have achieved billions in savings on our own to be able to, in this year, go into this year not having those obligations. We have had record revenue growth in our city over the last year. It was the best revenue year in city history, so that hundreds of millions could be rolled over in that regard, and more than $1 billion was saved in reducing the migrant population. So we had the resources, finally, because of the sound management through those twin crises, to invest in our city's future. And that is a testament to Mayor Adams and his team. I've only been here a month, but I got to tell you, I've never been prouder of a budget, having participated 30 years ago in quite a few budgets when I was deputy mayor back in the late 90s. Okay. This is an investment in the city's future, in public safety, and in affordable housing and in childcare.
Can we quickly look, though, at the numbers and the timing? So you've added another $600 million to your initial $114 billion budget. But since you've been in office, the city's been plagued by limited 3K, pre-K slots. Why wasn't that investment included in your January budget proposal?
Well, I think that going back to what the First Deputy Mayor stated, our fiscal uncertainties, looking at Wall Street, looking at tax revenues, we can't get it wrong. I think everyone, if you go look at the movie Drop Dead New York, you saw what Mayor Beams went through when it was not handled properly. We can't get it wrong. We don't have that options. And Jacques Gihard, our budget director, knew we had to make sure we were fiscally sound throughout the last 3 years. Now, this is a celebratory time.
Yeah.
Let's not underestimate what this city has gone through and the crises that we have gone through, and we navigated our way out of it, and we're able to invest in children, settled 99% of our union contracts, dealt with the fiscal cliff that we were dealing with, decreasing crime in this city to important levels, more jobs in the city, history, more housing than both administrations combined.
I hear you.
We start to celebrate.
Yeah, there's certainly a number of wins, no doubt about that, right? And I think people look at this and they say, yeah, there are some wins here, but there's also this looming threat that's coming from the Trump administration. They've already tried to claw back $80 million, and actually it was $180 million when you add the two together from the most recent one, right? And so some look at this and say, well, there should have been more of a rainy day fund in case you don't get federal funding or more money is pulled back. How do you answer that?
Yeah, think about this for a moment. Record level of rainy day, 8.5 billion. The same people who are saying that now, when it is a political season, were saying something different before. We should be investing in our future. But also the battle is not only Washington, D.C. As you stated, a little over $100 million from the Trump administration. We didn't get $1 billion from the state. We have to pay an additional $300 million in child care vouchers that was created by the state. So the difference between me and others, I'm not going to fight for New York based on the status of whose party is in power. I'm going to fight for New York no matter who. In Albany and Washington and the city council. That's the consistency.
Some would say that you're bringing up election year, right? And some would say, well, this budget included so much because it is an election year. And that's why you tried to make everybody happy.
Well, that would be just a failure to recognize the reality that we're investing in our city's future, and that is the key. There's $8.5 billion in reserves, as the mayor said. $2 billion of it just for emergencies. Those are record levels. But it's also the case that in fiscal year 25, we're going to have spent $119 billion. This budget is only $115 billion. We've been conservative, despite record revenue year last year, where it was 8% growth, and only projecting 1% going forward. We're prepared for every contingency, and this mayor will stand up for New York at every turn, including suing when Elon Musk and the Trump administration pulled back that $80 million in migrant funding on a wire transfer. So we'll stand up for New York when we need to stand up for New York, but I don't think any elected official in this state, I don't think any big city mayor is well positioned to deal with what goes on in Washington than Eric Adams.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, can we ask you about something that's happening right now? The Rent Guidelines Board proposing rent increases. Do you think that there should be a rent freeze right now?
We need to look at small property owners, and I stated it over and over again. It's good to just throw out a political comment of saying rent freeze, but what about the mother and father that has the 18-unit building that they saw heat costs go up, repairs go up? Should we tell them that they should pocket that? That's unfair. And if they lose the primary source of their funding, and big landlords come in and take them from them or buy their homes from them in foreclosures, that's a real issue. And so what we must do, we must balance. 7% is too high. The independent board should come back, and we should go at the lower end, but we should always keep in mind our small property owners. What many people seem to forget, these are working class people that sacrifice everything for their properties, and we cannot forget them. And I'm not going to forget working class people.
All right. By the way, you mentioned the Knicks at the top. Are you going to go to the next game? I know there's some controversy around you going to games.
Well, you know, whenever you go to games, there's controversy. New York is controversy. 8.5 million people, 38 million opinions.
Yeah, and real quickly, after the heroics last night, any chance you're going to give Jalen Brunson the key to the city?
We're looking forward to giving that whole team the key to the city when they win this championship.
Got it. There you go. Mr. Mayor, First Deputy Mayor Randy Mastro, great to see you both. Thanks for being here.